Hi there. We're on day 345 of our Through the New Testament 1 year. I mean, it's like 20 days after today. Wow. Crazy, huh? We are doing Revelations. Okay? We're doing Revelations. We're in chapter 2, right? We did the description of Jesus yesterday, and John is taken up in the Spirit. Okay? And it's interesting to each of the churches have an angel assigned to it. Yeah, you think that's still the case today? Well, maybe. Right? But he's going to start talking about the churches. There were 7 in total. I think we're going to cover 3 or 4 of them today. All right. And like any good person, he always start with the positive. Okay. These are positives, but we have a problem. Okay. And all but one of the churches, right? Only Philadelphia, but that's tomorrow. So, and just for a interesting point in fact, the 7 churches that he was writing to, none of them exist today. Okay. They are all gone and destroyed. So, where are we in Revelations? Okay, who knows? But they do represent a lot of the churches today, the style of churches and stuff. So we'll go through this. Okay. To the church in Ephesus. To the angel of the church in Ephesus, right? The words of him who holds the 7 stars in his right hand, who walks among the 7 golden lampstands, and know your works, your toil, and your patient endurance, and how you cannot bear with those who are evil. But I have tested those who call themselves apostles and are not, and found them to be false. I know you are enduring patiently, bearing up for my name's sake, and you have not grown weary. Okay, good stuff, right? But I have this against you, that you have abandoned the love that you had at first. Remember, therefore, from where you have fallen, repent and do the works you did at first. If not, I will come to you and remove your lampstand from its place, unless you repent. Okay? Yet this you have. You hate the works of the Nicolaitans. And he talks about Nicolaitans a lot. Okay? False teachers. Right? Which I also hate. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To the one who conquers, I will grant to eat of the tree of life, which is in the paradise of God. Okay? Church in Ephesus, right? The church in Smyrna. And to the angel of the church in Smyrna, right? They're writing these to the angels, right? The words of the first and the last who died and came to life. I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich. And the slander of those who say that they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Mm-hmm. Do not fear what you are about to suffer. Behold, the devil is about to throw some of you into prison, that you may be tested, and for 10 days you will have tribulation. But be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. The one who conquers will not be hurt by the second death. Okay? The second death. All right. So Smyrna was, I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich. All right? If you have studied the Proverbs of Solomon, you know what rich is, okay? Has nothing to do with wealth. Wealth and rich are 2 different things, okay? Oh, the church at Pergamum. And to the angel of the church of Pergamum write, the words of him who has the sharp 2-edged sword. I know where you dwell, where Satan's throne is. That's not a good thing to say, right? Yet you hold fast my name, and you did not deny my faith, even in the days of Antipas, right? My faithful witness, right? Now, this church in Pergamum was right at the heart of the satanic movement, and they were there, right? Not an easy place to be. Yet you hold fast to my name and did not deny my faith. Even in the days of Antipas, my faithful witness who was killed among you, where Satan dwells. But I have a few things against you. Right? You have some there who hold to the teaching of Balaam, who taught Balak to put a stumbling block before the sons of Israel so that they might eat food sacrificed to idols and practice sexual immorality. So also you have some who hold the teaching of the Nicolaitans. Mm-hmm. Therefore repent. If not, I will come to you soon and war against them with the sword of my mouth. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To the one who conquers, I will give some of the hidden manna, and I will give him a white stone with a new name written on it, on the stone, that no one knows except the one who receives it. Interesting, huh? Now, if you go back a couple years in my studies, I did extremely in-depth studies of each church, right? We devoted an entire study to each separate church, but we're just reading through the New Testament in a year, right? And once it's in there, the Spirit can bring it back up, right? If you ask him. Right? Okay, the church of Thyatira. And to the angel of the church in Thyatira, right? The words of the Son of God, who has eyes like a flame of fire and whose feet are like burnished bronze. I know your works, your love and faith and service and patient endurance, and that your latter works exceed the first. But I have this against you, okay? That you tolerate that woman Jezebel, who calls herself a prophetess and is teaching and seducing my servants to practice sexual immorality and to eat food sacrificed to idols. I gave her time to repent, but she refuses to repent of her sexual immorality. Behold, I will throw her onto a sickbed, and those who commit adultery with her I will throw into great tribulation, unless they repent of her works. And I will strike her children dead, and all the churches will know that I am he who searches mind and heart, and I will give to each of you according to your works. But to the rest of you in Thyatira who do not hold to this teaching, who have not learned that some call the deep things of Satan, to you I say, I do not lay on you any other burden. Right? Only hold fast what you have until I come. The one who conquers and who keeps my works until the end, to him I will give authority over nations. And he will rule them with a rod of iron, as when earthen pots are broken in pieces, even as I myself have received authority from my Father. And I will give him the morning star. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Okay? And this is kind of important, this last part right here, okay? To the rest of you in Thyatira. And there were people in every church who didn't follow those false teachings, right? There were good people in every church. But the vast number of them followed, got their ears tickled and did what felt good, right? Right? Who have not learned what some call the deep things of Satan. To you I say, I do not lay on you any other burden. Okay? So there you go. That's the first 4 churches, okay? Mark that as complete. Tomorrow we'll do the other 3 churches, okay? Sardis, Philadelphia, Laodicea, okay? And the church of Philadelphia is what we want all strive to be like. He had nothing against them, okay? So, there you go. That's today's study. Never read through Revelations quickly like that, but we're going through Revelations quickly just to finish the whole Bible in a year. So, there you have it, right? And these will be a little longer, upwards of towards 10 minutes. So, but we want to get it all in, right? So we'll get it all in before the year's over, and then we can start something else. So there you go. Catch up on anything you may have missed, and give us a like if you think about it. And tomorrow we'll continue. See you then.